that was a screw job today. That was an absolute screw job today. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about because it was the only screw job we saw today. And if you're going to have a rule in place for safety purposes in football and you're not going to enforce it at all times, then there's no point in having the rule. I'll put it on the record right now. I absolutely despise the rule changes in football. I despise the inability to have a block and a blindside block. I despise that crackbacks have been knocked out of football. I despise that you have to be in front of the person to hit them, which is that blindside block thing. But you can't do any. You have to literally let them run by you or get in the way, but you can't block them. And more than anything, I despise, absolutely despise the helmet to helmet targeting rule. So now that you know my stance on this rule, I can speak about what actually happened today. I hate that rule. I wish they would get rid of all of those rules so we can go back to grown men playing football and hitting like it's football. But before we begin, this is Rudy's Rant, powered by coming out of the podcast. Welcome back, everyone. I hope everyone had an amazing new year, had a fun night last night, stayed safe, enjoyed themselves, partied hardy, and had a good old time. This is Rudy's Rant. Again, we talk facts over feelings. And if you are new to this channel, please be sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Share the video, leave a comment. That is the lifeblood of the channel. Let's jump on in on the topic at hand. So let's jump in on the play that obviously had the world or the college football world asking, what the hell is targeting? What is this penalty? Can you explain this penalty to me? Because they have constantly adjusted what it is. First off, this is a game played with helmets. This is a game played with shoulder pads, with rib pads, with hip pads, butt pads, thigh pads, knee pads. There's pads everywhere. They are padded to the gills. The technology of pads today far exceeds the technology of pads in the 90s. Everything is better today than it was in the 90s and in the 80s, and definitely in the 70s and the 60s. So, what the hell is targeting? Because before it was helmet to helmet, then it became how you launch yourself. Then it was if you make forcible contact to the head. So, it could be that your arm hits the person in the head. That became targeting. There, or that is targeting. I don't know what targeting is anymore. Then it's shoulder pad. If your shoulder pad hits the head, so it's like it could be helmet, it could be shoulder pad, it could be arm, it could be anything right now that can be considered targeting if somehow you hit someone on the head. But this play changed the outcome of the game. If you want to get rid of these penalties, I'm cool with that. I actually would rather have football go back to being football. But what I don't want is to have a rule in play, and then what you have is shit like this, where I will add it right here. His helmet, I don't explain to me what he's leading with. He's not leading with his shoulder. He's not leading with his arms. He's leading with the front of his freaking helmet. Whether you lead with this or this, you're leading with your helmet. He's leading with his helmet. So what's the rule? You'll notice I actually did a post on this. Get rid of the rule if this is not targeting. It's absolutely targeting. They gifted this game to Texas. The ball would have been at the 35 going in for ASU. This is where they were. Because that 15-yard penalty happened at midfield. That ball would have been 36, 37-yard line. Arizona State gets a first down, another first down. They're within 4. Yeah, is their field goal kicker the greatest? No. But you know what? All you need is them to make one. He makes a 45-yard field goal, 40-yard field goal. Arizona State wins the game. They're playing next week. Instead, the game goes into overtime, I mean, obviously they got lucky with Texas missing 2 field goals, including an easy one at the end. But you go into overtime and you lose in overtime. Now I can also put it on Arizona State that you had 4th and 13, and you do all your guys are blitzing up the A gap, and everyone got caught up in there. And how the hell do you get beat by their best offensive weapon? Beyond me as well. But it doesn't matter because this is a call that has to be made. And there's no way in the world that you have replay and you have this and you sit here and tell me that this is not targeting. It's complete bullshit. This guy was knocked out flipping cold. He was knocked out cold, folks. That's reality. He was knocked out. He looked like Tua getting concussed. He is that guy would have not played next week. But let's look at this is off of ESPN's on Instagram. You look at this play. Let's go back to let's start it over again. Let's get it where like what do you need? Look at this. Look at this. That's helmet on helmet. Like what? How is that? It doesn't matter if the ball got tipped. He caught the ball. He's a defenseless receiver. Again, another part of the rule. Defenseless receiver. This is targeting every single time, whether it's the first minute of the game or the 59th minute of the game. This is absolutely targeting. So let's look at the play. Boom. You're at the 48, so they've been at the 37. He is out. There's a minute to go, bro. They have a timeout. This is shameful, people. This was an absolute fucking screw job. And this goes back to the mentality of SEC. They got to get the SEC in there because Arizona State was about to mess everyone's world up, getting Texas out of this thing. Because they were down 24-8. And they came back and made this a game. They tie the game. They have the ball. It's 4th and 5 there. It should have been now 1st and 10 from the 37-yard line. That's what it should have been. Instead, we're sitting here and we have a punt where they have to punt it away and Texas gets a chance to win. And they do miss the field goal off the post. But this is targeting. And I'll just give you some of the comments that are coming out. This is from Terry McCauley, a former NFL referee. Former referee, Terry McCauley. And this man is sitting here telling you, to be clear, he took aim at an opponent for purposes of attacking with forcible contact. That goes beyond making a legal tackle or a legal block or playing the ball. He led with his head. He made forcible contact to the head, neck area of a defenseless receiver using his helmet. That's the rule. It's clearly targeting. And then you read other comments from people. There's a post on if it should have been called targeting, and it's 82% that say yes, it should be called targeting. I'm sure the 18% that said no are Texas fans. Mike Greenberg, that is a disgrace. If that's not targeting, what is? And I'll share it with you. Why not? Let me share this. That is a disgrace. If that's not targeting, what is? Jay Feely, why have a targeting rule if you're going to call obvious if you're going to call why have a targeting rule if you are I really should be not call obvious targeting in the biggest games? How could they look at this and deem this as not targeting? I don't know who this is. Sammy on tap. I'm serious. Referees need to be investigated. ASU should have the ball. If you have a targeting rule, it should be called in that moment. Awful. Heck, they didn't even throw a flag on this, by the way. They checked it because he was knocked out cold, and they did it in replay because these referees did not call this on the field. I have played Travis. I have watched every college football game that matters and tons that don't for the entire targeting era. How is this not targeting? Legit would love to hear this explained. It's textbook. These are other comments. Here, let me go to these comments. These comments are actually better. Here we got here. You got Warren Sapp right here. 100%. I'm sorry, Warren Sharp. 100% targeting. Horse shit to not call it awful. Will Compton, former player. In a football world of targeting, that was the most insane non-targeting call of all time. Ari Mirov, I don't understand what targeting is anymore. Mike Greenberg again. Nicole Auerbach, that is obviously targeting. Danny Cannell, gotta protect Texas, I guess. That was targeting all day long. The coach doesn't know what targeting is. No one seems to know what targeting is at all. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And it directly impacted the outcome of this game. In fact, there was a comment here where someone said there's no such thing as a defenseless on a football field, especially if you have the ball. It was front of helmet, not the crown. So now we're semantics with the front of the bro. I hit you with that's the front of my helmet, bro. That's targeting. Like it would be pathetic to call it. Not every big hit has to be a penalty. Bro. Man, the comments that you see from people, like people don't know the rules, and then who made the decision as to who made this call? Is it someone in a booth? Is it the main referee? Who made this decision? Is it? That's the question I have, because I don't think anyone knows that either. They protect all of them from everybody. This is an embarrassment. This was an upset that was going to happen. Arizona State was going to win this game because Texas was reeling and it got taken from Arizona State. There's no doubt in my mind that they get another 10, 15 yards. They're in 40-yard field goal range and they win the damn game. That's my belief, and I'm going to stick to it. But at the very least, they earn the opportunity to have the chance. If they miss, they miss. Then you have overtime. But they earned that opportunity to be there. The man got, I mean, like I said, I hate the rule. But if you're going to have the rule, enforce the flipping rule. That guy will have a headache for 2 weeks now, probably, and got nothing to show for it. Oh, that was a big hit. No, it wasn't. It was targeting. Now, that's the first massive, well, that was the last massive fuck up in this game by the officials. I have another one that I'm going to show you because I don't understand this one either. I'm completely confused by this one as well. It's 7-3 Texas in the first quarter, and Arizona State punts the ball. Another one of the rules is that you can't have a blindside block. And that's inclusive on interception returns, punt returns. Those blocks were, if you played football, you know what I'm talking about. Those blocks where you absolutely annihilate the opponent. And they don't see you. You annihilate because they don't see you. So if you have a guy coming running this direction and you're running this direction and you crack him, it doesn't matter if his head turns at the last second. As long as you're in front of his chest, your helmet's in front of his chest, it's a legal block. Those blocks are no longer legal in football when they're blindside hits, which means they didn't have a chance to see you coming when they cracked the crap out of you. Because now you never see those hits anymore. If you've noticed, you don't see those hits anymore. Interception return, guys running on the sideline. Here comes a guy chasing him down. Here comes a teammate. Knocks this guy's head off. Those blocks were perfectly legal just a few years ago. They've been eliminated from football. It's pathetic. It's as pathetic as the hip drop thing, horse collar, another one. One guy gets hurt, and now we change the rule. One guy gets hurt from a horse collar tackle that of no, like I think it was Terrell Owens. One guy gets hurt of stature, and the rule gets changed. If you don't want a horse collar, how about you just strap some stuff around their necks so that you can't grab in the pads? It's tackling. They've made football so hard for defenses, which is why you have these ridiculous scores in so many games now. But this punt return was textbook blindside block. And it was the point of the play that set the whole damn play up for the 75-yard punt return. So let me show it to you. Let me show it to you. It's absolutely nuts. Punt goes up. The block is immediate. Catches it right here. It's going to happen right here. He misses. It's going to come right here. Boom, boom. Oh, it's right, really like right there. Boom. Look at it. Do you think this guy sees this dude here? That's a blindside block. It's not actually a legal hands, block in the back. Because I mean, I saw people posting that was blocking the back. This is not a block in the back. This is a blindside block by rule. Ooh, took him right out the play. Do it again. I mean, if you want to be honest, right here, this is a push in the back right there. He pushed him in the back. But this whole play starts right here. Block. That's a blindside block by rule. Hell, he tackled him. Like there's penalties all over this play. I mean, he tackled him to the ground. Folks, what are the rules? What are the rules? These are two massive calls that went against Arizona State in this game. Now, there's also some rules that I think should exist that used to exist that were removed that now, I mean, it's like they remove certain rules and then they add rules and then they remove rules. So, for example, why does the tush push work in the NFL? Because it allows people from behind Jalen Hurts with the Eagles to get behind him and push him into the end zone. That used to be illegal. And if you ask me, it should still be illegal. You shouldn't allow the offensive players to get behind the ball carrier and just shove him forward to push a pile. If he can't, once his forward progress is stopped, that's it. The same way they can't push him backward and then mark it to where he lands. It's marked from where his progress was stopped. In this game, on one of Cam Scatterboo's touchdowns, they said he was driving the end zone. No, his offensive lineman literally picked him up, pulled him from the tackle, and almost, suplex citied him into the end zone, like Brock Lesnar. He carried him into the end zone 2 yards. I don't think that should be allowed, but that's allowed now. That's a rule that used to exist where you were not allowed to assist the runner. So they take that rule out to get more points, and then they put these defensive rules in, but at the same time they don't enforce it. This is the most subjective rule on earth. It's subjective. There's people that will argue that there was a hit earlier this year with Miami and Cal on Wesley Bissain. Like, that was a ball carrier running the ball, the quarterback, and the only reason it got looked at was because he got his bell rung. Right? So that one, and I saw that. I'm a Hurricane fan, so I'm biased. But he got hit first with his shoulder pad. People will say, yeah, he did get hit with his helmet, but the first contact was with his shoulder pad. Shoulder pad to shoulder pad. But that's why the rule's stupid, because it's subjective. It's a bad rule for football. It suspends players it ejects players from the game, which is ridiculous. Like a helmet to helmet should not eject anyone from the game. 15-yard penalty, call it a day. No, they eject guys in college, and then they miss the first half of the next game, which is preposterous, utterly preposterous. It's the punishment is not equal to the crime. It's just the crime. The punishment is so much worse than the crime in football now. Everything's over penalized. It's like every sport. Everything's over penalized. But if you have the damn rule, you have to call that. You have to call. If that is not the most textbook of them all, there's nothing else that's more textbook. And I feel bad for Arizona State because they made a great comeback. They showed they belonged in that whole 9. That game, they were going to win that game. And I don't know what conference these officials are from. And I hate to blame officials, but there were these two calls were outrageous in my opinion. And this one on the punt return was not talked about enough. It wasn't talked about because that is a blindside block by letter of the rule. By letter of the law, it is a blindside block, and that is illegal in college football and the NFL now. It's a penalty. Call it. And if you call that, it's not a 14-3 game. Because if you want to be real about this game, if you want to be 100% real about this game, Arizona State scores to take the lead. Texas has the 2-play drive touchdown. You're like, oh, shit. Then they got the punt return. And then they had a field goal. They did utterly nothing offensively in the first half outside of a 2-play drive. They did nothing. Arizona State's defense played a great game. So if you, at 24-24, Texas has a punt return for a touchdown. So 7 of their 24 points are off of special teams. 7 of them. So they didn't have some amazing offensive performance. Arizona State balled their asses off. They really picked it up after that first quarter. They really played well after that first quarter. And it's a damn shame they lost the game. Because when you have calls like that go against you, there's no real reason for it. There's no answer. There's no one can answer the question. And yeah, I am frustrated at that 4th and 13. That was just ridiculous. That should never happen. And they're going to look at themselves in the mirror on that one and be really, it would be hard. It's going to be hard to swallow. You can't blitz everyone up the fucking A gap because it actually makes it easier to block. And you can't get beat deep by the best guy on their team. 2 guys got beat deep. Like, come on, man. But that call, that was a screw job. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Love to hear what you guys say. This is Rudy's Rant. We talk facts over feelings. Appreciate your show. Like, subscribe, follow, hit that bell, leave a comment. Again, let me know what you think because I just don't know the rules anymore. And clearly, many football people don't know the rules either. Come on now.